Nikki, also known as Dragonfly7673. Today is Monday, July 8th. Today is called Official Rest because for the Tour de Fleece, today is for the Tour de France, today is a rest day for the riders, which means it is a rest day for those participating in Tour de Fleece. And since today was also a chiropractor day and a podcasting day, I'm kind of glad for the day of rest because it means I don't have to spend tonight if I don't want to. Time's a little tight, and I have a Tiggy trying to jump up, and I'm hot. It's a very hot corner. The way the ceiling goes, it's high. It's just kind of weird. The ceiling here is higher, and then there's a wall, and then it goes into the other room, and there's no airflow in this little corner. So it's very warm. And best friend should be here any minute, and the iPad battery is about to die, so I'm hoping we just get through this. So, most of my progress is going to be Tour de Fleece related, because that's what's going on right now. Just a second, okay. I don't know if you could hear my son in the background. He's all excited playing. I don't know even know if he's on the phone or what he's doing. But anyway, he was yelling excitedly, and I just told him to keep it down. So, Tour de Fleece. I am spinning on the wheel. I'm spinning this fiber. This was the Boardwalk Roses from Highland Handmaids. I actually have 2 braids of it. So this braid, this is 4 ounces. I just spun lengthwise in the braid. I didn't do anything special to it. So there are long color sections. I didn't quite realize how much natural there is, because there's kind of a brown and then a gray and then a little bit of blue, and so a lot of that kind of blends together into a big natural section, and then there's pink. It looks really pretty. It's got black BFL and white BFL, and then mixed, and then it's dyed, so it really picks up the colors really interesting. The second braid I split into 4ths down the middle, so those ones will have much shorter color repeats. When I apply them together, I should get a lot of barber pulling. So I'm going to post pictures of the braid and what the fiber's been looking like. You'll actually see this one a couple times because I have it like this with the pink, and then I have what it looks like when it's all the natural colors, and then I have what the second bobbin is looking like, where you can tell they're a lot more mixed because the color repeats are a lot shorter. So, and I picked that color because that goes with our July ruby birthstone along. Now, July rubies can be a very pink red, a very purple red, or they can be red. So we were kind of going for pinks this time around since we did red as January for garnet, but some people are posting reds, perfectly fine. So the birthstone along, there's actually 2 prizes this month because 2 people volunteered within like hours of each other. And actually 1 person volunteered, and then I got a prize, a surprise prize in the mail. So this was donated by Mountain Pearl, and this is Blue Moon Fiber Arts Socks That Rock, lightweight. The colorway is brick. So it's definitely a brick red. It very closely matches my walls. And then she added stitch markers. So this is one of the prizes. The other prize for July is $15 for anything on Ravelry. So that can be either patterns, ebooks, or something from the Mini Mart. as long as it is $15 or less. And that is coming from I Am New York City Girl. So I appreciate both of those so much. I wanted to add, last week I showed you this prize from Nikki, who is Living for Fishing, which is the project bag she made for us. Maybe it wasn't last week, I don't remember anymore. With the dragonflies on top and the yarn. And then she had also sent the little tin. Well, I contacted Debbie from Twisted Willow Farm. She was my third roommate at the CJ Kopuk retreat, and while at the retreat I had bought stitch markers from her. Well, I went to her Etsy shop to look for more stitch markers, and she didn't have her shop open at the time, but she let me know that she had stitch markers. And so I asked for stitch markers for me and a set of stitch markers for to add to the prize, and she just said, just send me your address. And she sent me 3 sets of stitch markers, 2 for me, 1 for the prize, and she just sent them to me just as a thank you for even thinking of her shop. So it is Twisted Willows Farm. They are kind of these rubber washers, and then there's one pretty one to mark your end of row. So this one fits up to a size 8. This one fits up to a size 6. And this one is another size 8 in green. I originally was going to put a either the green or the yellow in here, but now I'm thinking I might put the blue, the little blue ones. Actually, I think for sure that's what I'm going to do, because they match. So, and it goes with the sock yarn then. So I'm throwing that all in the prize bag. So this is actually for September's prize. If I remember right, that's when Nikki's birthday is, and that was why she did that. So, I'm kind of all over the place. I'm sorry. My other Tour de Fleece project, I had told you that I had, because I had been plying that alpaca and yak fiber the first couple days of the Tour de Fleece, but I was part of the Highland Handmaids team. I had been using my drop spindle, and I wasn't sure if I was going to continue on it once I started actually wheel spinning my Highland Handmaids. But I started getting pretty good at it. So I have been doing at least 20 minutes an evening. I actually did an hour one evening. And one day last week I actually spindle spun in the car while I was waiting for my son at the chiropractor. I usually knit at the chiropractor in the waiting room, but we were going to go see World War Z that evening, and I knew if I didn't spin while we were at the chiropractor, I wasn't going to have any spinning for that day for Tour de Fleece. So I grabbed the drop spindle and I spun in the car, and his chiropractor appointments are about half an hour long. So I spun that day, and I was really proud of myself. So it actually has been coming out pretty well. This fiber was only it was only a 2-ounce bump. When I finish this puff, this will be an ounce. Today is a rest day, so I wasn't going to spin today, but I might be kind of researching how to get it off the spindle. I've never gotten that far before. I did one day, right before the Tour de Fleece, I had some yarn wound on that, and I just sort of caked it up into a little bitty cake that's up on my shelf. It was just some singles from like ages ago. So my spinning has been the spindle spinning and the Highland Handmaids on my Kromsky wheel. So I'm on the rookies team, which is all newbies who this is their first year. The Peloton team, which is just about everybody. The unofficial Knitting Blooms, the official Highland Handmaids, and then every day you can also just post in the tour. Oh, and Kromsky, because my wheel is Kromsky. Both my wheels are Kromskys. And then the every day in the Tour de Fleece thread, they put up a daily item. So I have been posting in there. I've been doing kind of a collage every day, and that's what I post in the threads. I will put that at near the end so you guys can see what I've been doing every day. So that's spinning. Knitting hasn't been as much because I've been spinning. So, and, well, I shouldn't say that. When I'm out and about, I have been knitting on my sock that sits in my purse, and the yarn ball's in there, so it looks all fat. The last time I saw this, I think I was somewhere in this purple. Maybe just about to start the green. Anyway, when we went to World War Z, the Marcus app on our phones said that they had a 3D showing, like 6:55. So we got to the theater at 6:30. Well, then they said, no, we don't have a 3D showing anymore. We only have the 2D at 7:30. So we had to wait an hour for the movie to even start. And I know I took a picture that day, and I was in the green that day. So, and then I knit. We hung out with best friend's parents a little bit. Knit then. My birthday was last week. My son tried to make me a cake. He tried to surprise me, and he realized afterwards when it didn't look quite right that he forgot to put the eggs in the mix. He said, don't eat it. He tried. Then he made me birthday cookies instead. And so best friend's parents bought me a cake. So we just sat outside and had a piece of cake, chatted. They went home. Best friend got me this necklace for my birthday. And I got a couple patterns from people, which I appreciated. So I think that's it for birthday festivities. Saturday we went to see, oh, I forgot to bring it up. Shoot. I have a flyer for, we went to the Lifeline Theater in Chicago, and they are doing The Three Musketeers. And one of my best friend's good friends is actually one of the Three Musketeers, so it was a pretty major role for him on stage. So we met up with another friend for dinner, and then a group of us met at the theater to see the play. And then after the play, we all dispersed because it was a late night. And we actually, while we were down near Chicago, we saw they have lots of Baskin-Robbins / Dunkin' Donuts. We don't have Baskin-Robbins around here. So at 11:30 at night, we stopped at Baskin-Robbins and all got sundaes. So it was me and my son and best friend. We all stopped and got sundaes. So that was just kind of a nice evening. Alright, so I was working on the sock. I also been working on, I don't know how to pronounce this. Let me pull it out. Oh, yes I do. This is the Arietta. I don't know how to pronounce the designer's name. It's sorry. Asa Tricosa? Maybe? Just Tricosa? Anyways, the Arietta shawl. Paul of the Polly Knits podcast gifted this to me. And I have started it, and I've got I got the setup done and one repeat of the body. It is not something I can memorize. Just a second. Alright, since we were paused, I put in a picture of the shawl as it is. But I can't memorize it, or at least not yet. So I put, you increase until you've used half your yarn, and then there's a different set of charts for the decreases. Well, I did chart cards for the increases because I find them easier to flip through. It takes concentration, so it's not good for TV knitting unless it's something I've seen before. It's not good in the car. It's not good for conference calls. So it is going a little slow, but it's really pretty. So we'll see. It could be that once I get going, maybe eventually it'll click. So, but every time you get through a body repeat, you've increased 6 stitches in the middle, and so you add another repeat wide. So it's continually growing. Alright. Other things this week. So, you've seen knitting. You saw my shawl. You saw my sock. You saw spinning. We talked about the birthstone long. I've been watching the poll for the kind of whether you want your podcast to be downloadable. I was watching Katie from Knitting on the Fly, and she was saying, unfortunately, because podcasting does not pay, some podcasts are going to have to go to like YouTube only. And if you want to see them, that's where you're going to have to go. I think I'm going to try to go to something like Hipcast. That one seemed to make the most sense for me, for how much the monthly growth worked. So I haven't changed yet. One thing I am doing, I started last week, is in the past on the blog I've put the blip video. Last week I put the YouTube video. So I still downloaded YouTube. I posted that in the Ravelry thread and on the blog. And then I let blip load overnight, and that went to iTunes. So right now I still haven't heard anything. Last week I told you that I was still on a pro account, and that was not true. I actually looked and realized that no, they actually canceled all the pro accounts in February and marked everybody back to basic, but they've still been charging me. I know Heather of Highland Handmade said that she complained and got her money back. At this point, I'm trying to stay under the radar. I am wondering if there's some sort of system to how long you've been around and how frequently you podcast. I think the people that I know of that have been dropped so far are new or don't post regularly. So for the only ones I know are Twisted Strands, and I love JD, but she posts when she can. His and Her podcast, and there's some other ones that I think were newer, but I could be wrong. I've been doing this for over 2 years and almost faithfully every week, so I'm hoping that has something to do with it, so maybe I won't go right away. I honestly don't know. And a lot of people have asked, well, what is Blip expecting? I think most of us think of Blip only in terms of our podcast watching, which is screencasts. It's you watching me, telling you about stuff. My understanding is what Blip wants to be is sort of like alternative television. They're looking for unique web series with casts and scripts and props and, like alternative television type stuff. And that's not who we are. And I know a couple people have written in, and at this point I'm not protesting. They've already made their decision, and if that's not the direction they want to go, that's not the direction they want to go. So, there are people that have gotten kind of famous. There's Fred, who I can't stand. I can't think what his real name is. But anyway, he got famous on YouTube for doing the high squeaky voice and being kind of an idiot, and now actually has real shows. So I think they're looking for web shows, which is not us. But right now they haven't. Right now I'm still here. So the only change you should see, if you even notice, is if you watch on the blog, you're going to see a YouTube. I'm going to try and get going because this is, it's getting dark. I ordered a couple things this week. This is an apron. It is from Sassy Apron at Etsy. This is her card. I actually thought her card was pretty cute. I didn't get a full-size apron. I got a half apron. They call this, I forgot what she calls this. But she said it's good for if you are a vendor at a booth or if you garden and things like that, because it actually has lots of pockets. This level is a pocket, this level is a pocket, and they go 3 across. And it's denim. It's pretty, this is sturdy. And the ties are really long. I bought it to wear while I'm spinning with the hope that the spinning fiber will collect on the apron and not all over my pants. Because I have a bad habit of collecting stuff all over my pants. So that's what I got it for. It actually came in the mail last week, and then it got thrown in the back seat because we picked up the mail on our way to somewhere. And then I kept forgetting to get it, so I just opened it today. Oh, another thing I got in the mail that I was totally surprised is I got fudge. And I was very confused because the fudge came from somebody named Julie in Nevada, and then it said from Allison, and I could only think of 2 Allisons. One is the Allison in St. Louis, who best friend and I just saw for the Cardinals game, and the other Allison is from Australia, and so I asked them both if they sent it. Turned out it was Australia Allison, and she said she won the fudge from Kelly of Ethereal Fibers, and they were doing a contest for and collecting chemo hats. And so she won the fudge, but she can't eat fudge, and she did not think fudge was going to make it all the way safely to Australia, so she had them send it to me as kind of a birthday gift. So, and I haven't actually had any yet because we ended up with the leftover cake, and my son had made me cookies. The fudge is in the fridge, but it's milk chocolate macchiato, something like that. It looks good. I haven't eaten it yet. Okay, next thing I got, I had ordered things. I've been trying to support Mary Gale, who is the owner of Spartacus Dyes, maybe? Spartacus Fiber? No, I don't remember. She did a Spartacus Dyes. She did a Kickstarter a while back. Plus, she had some yarn that I just wanted. And I'm in the County Fair Club that she and Hippie Penguin are doing together. So she sent, so for the Kickstarter, I had wanted one of her messenger bags. So she kind of saved up and everything got mailed at once. So this is the yarn that I just bought. This is her Will and Grace sock base, and it's Sally from the Tim Burton series. I'll post pictures because it's not going to come out very good right now. This one, I'm hoping everybody has theirs now. This would be a spoiler for the county fair, but I think everybody should have it. The first couple county fair we had were from Hillary of Hippie Penguin, and this one is from Mary Gale. And so she says this one is because of the lights on the Ferris wheel that she remembers from the county fairs when she was growing up. So it's all different lights, and the little bits where it's undyed, the white represents the brightness. So I think it is really pretty. And then I have been totally jazzed by this messenger bag ever since she showed it on her podcast. Exchange student in Fiberland, although she hasn't recorded for a while. She's had a whole lot of life changes going on. So this is a small messenger bag. This one, she made this one special for me. So there's brown corduroy, and then kind of this argyle color. So it folds over, and inside there's a pocket that's corduroy and the argyle, and then the handle is corduroy and argyle. So here's the bag. Now here's the fun part of the bag. I can turn it inside out. I've been trying to practice doing this faster, but I'm not really any faster. And now, the flap is the argyle. You lift it up and see the brown. And on the outside is the pocket with the argyle. Or, you can flip this pocket and now the pocket is still on the outside, and then, but it's now the brown. There you go. So, I have been very jazzed by this. And the handle, because of the way it will naturally fold, depending on how you have it. That's kind of how you have your outer and inner. So, during the Kickstarter, I said I really wanted a messenger bag. And so she made this one special for me. We picked this color combo because it was a little whimsical, but still professional for carrying back and forth to work. So she had looked for something with dragonflies, but nothing. The closest she found was some butterflies, and they were more, they wouldn't have worked for work. So, all right, I'm going to post pictures. Let me make sure on my checklist. I'm kind of rushing. I can hear best friend. He just pulled up. Oh, I did want to tell you a couple things. But we got most of it. We saw World War Z. I told you that. I ended up, I really liked the movie. And originally I wasn't going to go. But I liked it so much I actually got the book. The book is not, the movie is a full story of Brad Pitt and his family and what he does. The book is written as a series of interviews, as if they're kind of like news related, and I'm finding it a really interesting read, and I don't always set time aside, and I've actually been like hiding under the covers, like reading. So I've really been enjoying that book. So I linked the movie and the book on the show notes. The other thing I want to tell you guys is a while back we had talked about new spinning functionality on Ravelry, and Casey and the gang have actually been adding some new hand spun functionality. In order to see it, you have to go to the secret hangout thread, which isn't very secret, and I'll link it in the show notes, and then find the swatch code for the new hand spun functionality. What it does is once you implement it, it takes everything you've marked as hand spun and turns it into a spinning project. So it can have start and end dates. It can have twist and fiber and how you applied it and what tool you used. So I've got that, you know, some of my stuff is on the Kromsky Sonata. That blue fiber is on the Highland Handmaid's Drop spindle. And you can add tools right from that page. It's really been pretty cool. So I will link to it in the show notes. And I am going to get going now. So I will talk to you guys. I think I'll talk to you guys next week. Next week we have a visitor all week, so I'm not sure if I will podcast next week or not. I really don't know. It might be a week off. I will post in the Ravelry thread, though, if I am not going to podcast. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye now.